20 years ago, October 2006, I refused to watch The Devil Wears Prada because I was a 22-year-old Scorsese fan, more interested in films about mobsters and violence.
That's all.
20 years later, this reviewer is gonna wear Prada.
Getting old sucks.
October 6th, 2006 was a date to remember for certain cinema goers. A new film was released that was a big hit. It was starring the absolute hottest of the Hollywood old guard and the burgeoning talent of the new. And for me, the time a single 20-something male, it was a sight to behold, finally seeing the movie that won Martin Scorsese his first Oscar.
Martin Scorsese.
You see, as of 48 hours ago, I'd never watched The Devil Wears Prada. My single straight male persona flat out refused it. It was strictly a one-for-them movie. Flash forward 2 decades later, Devil Wears Prada is still held in high esteem, and a hotly anticipated sequel's hitting the runway, so I had to catch up, put on my Sunday best and tried to blag myself a seat in the front row. So hot off the back of our video on looks maxing, don't worry, no hammer to the face here, I watched the original, and against my expectations I enjoyed it, like a fair bit. I fell into the world of fashion. My local cinema had a runway ready screening on the opening night with a Prosecco reception. Come in your best outfits. So I went all in. I had to do the extreme. This reviewer is gonna wear Prada. Except I looked online and Prada completely eviscerates my budget. I'm not Gary Oldman or Tim Roth. Maybe an accessory? Gloves? $1,000? Geez, I thought we were in a cost of living crisis. I'll just buy a fragrance, right? Prada Men's Luna Rossa? Nope, still out of budget. I opted for the free tester spritz at the department store. And picking the latest trend to wear? I'm just going to find the one suit that fits in the wardrobe. You know, that hybrid wedding funeral suit. You know the one, slightly floral shirt that sends mixed messages during a eulogy. Now this is all fake. Levi t-shirt, jeans, Adidas trainers, I'm staying true to myself. I slunk into the back of the theatre after the sunset and the lights had come on and I was ready to walk down the legacy runway. Last year, 28 years later, taught us that bathing in iodine is the hottest post-apocalyptic trend. Now we're going to jump 20 years later to answer the latest question in modern cinema. Is The Devil Wears Prada 2 a Top Gun Maverick, or is it a Zoolander 2? Because when you wait 2 decades to bring back iconic characters, you're either saving cinema or actively destroying legacy. The film shows flashes of bravery. We see Miranda Priestly stripped of her budget and forced to fly economy class to Milan in a brilliant visual. But the film blinks. They could have given us a complete inverse power dynamic with Andrea taking the reins, a real fish out of water comedy. But instead they retreat to safety. We still get the massive expensive fashion show. Why? Because they had to sell clothes. Actually, they had to sell everything. The product placement is absolutely shameless. There's a moment where a random side character, who seemingly has nothing in the head, manages to place a bottle of Stella Artois on a table with the label facing right at the camera. Thought I was watching a Super Bowl commercial at one point. The film touches on the digital versus print journalism, or rather the death of heavy, deep, well-researched print and the ascension of the digital puff piece. Andy has been laid off from her serious journalism job along with her staff and finds herself at a crossroads. For a movie produced by a Murdoch studio, the very notion of mass-sacking journalists probably saves the real devil a few pops of Viagra. It's an honourable angle to attempt, but like much of the plot, it's in itself just puff. It's a convenient mechanism to get familiar characters into a room together. Away from the main cast, it feels entirely superficial. Justin Theroux playing a tech billionaire wearing a bald cap, so shockingly bad it looks like a midlife crisis in 4K resolution. His character's weird and the eccentricity doesn't work. Lucy Liu comes in with 2 scenes to fix the entire plot. She's Madame Plot Point. And Patrick Brammall, Connor from Accounts, is one of the most fun, hilarious and charming comedy shows in years. And he deserves all the flowers for that. But here, he's the Marks and Spencer's suit trying to pass as high fashion and awkwardly designed by committee love interest, just playing Gordon again. His addition makes no sense, and his inclusion feels like a Make-A-Wish moment or a Australian tax write-off scheme. But here's why the movie actually works. Despite a brief Mamma Mia 2 appearance, this is Meryl Streep's first real sequel. She's clearly having a great time here. Streep, Hathaway, Emily Blunt fit back into these roles like $1,000 Prada glove. And Stanley Tucci, it's getting to the point now that the most range he's shown recently is selling Chinese milk drinks, guns and Bose speakers. As a collective though, they have the exact energy of the Prada villain shoot with Gary Oldman and Tim Roth. When you've got actors of that caliber, you don't need a groundbreaking plot. I have to respect the studio in an era where trailers ruined the entire second half of the film. They held back on the plot and the surprises. They were content that the returning cast would put bums in seats. Spoiler alert, it will. The studio's quite arrogant should be applauded. So, plot contrivances aside, is it a worthy, solid, decades later sequel? Yes, albeit one that plays it safe. For a guy who had never seen the original, these were 3 hours that were not wasted. And if you're a genuine fashionista who's been waiting 2 decades, I think it's going to be well worth the wait. But what do I know? I don't wear Prada. I'm a knockoff handbag you get for 10 quid from Steve in Wetherspoons. But at least I'm honest and true to myself. Subscribe now if you want to see me smuggle a 6-pack into the cinema next week and giggle at disembowelment.
That's all.
Would you like to know more?
Movies, popcorn.